It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Oh, in the name of God. Now I know what it feels like to be God.
Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome back to another episode of Blood and Guts. HHN presents Creature Features. And with me, as always, Mad Matt. How's it going, Matt?
I'm just as happy as a werewolf on a full moon. How about you, Evil Adam?
I'm not that happy, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Tonight we're talking about a great kind of an indie werewolf film, Late Phases. Yeah, I love this film. I think it's got some good homages to classic werewolf stuff in there.
Right.
I think it's the only thing holding it back is its budget. Really,
Right.
It's pretty much how I see it. How do you feel?
I feel about the same way. I think you like it a little bit more than I do as far as like on the werewolf spectrum goes. But like you said, there's a lot of good in this movie. Like I think it's well directed.
Yep.
Cast is great, well written. Like I said, just a lot with the budget. So as we move along, friends and fiends, just know there is spoilers for this. So if you've not seen Late Phases, we highly encourage you to go give it a watch, then come back, and then you can comment on how you feel about the movie as well.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good werewolf tale. Man moves his veteran father, who's a Vietnam veteran,
Yes.
into a community for retirees, and he comes to find out that something
Yeah.
is
Is amiss.
amiss. Something's afoot. It's slaughtering some of the other persons that live there, and comes to find out that it's a werewolf. Now, he also happens to be blind
Right.
and has a dog, a guide dog, so he's dependent on that. So it kind of adds that extra little element of suspense
Right.
that I like. But what you think, Madman?
I thought the beginning of it, like we were discussing, was really well. I'm like you. I thought it was great to see the dog. It was sad to see what happens to the dog and like how the character takes it. So I mean, you have
Yep.
Nick DeMisi playing Ambrose, does a fantastic job as the blind veteran. So just seeing his demeanor and his like how he's not really happy the fact to be at that retire home because he just sees himself as going there to die.
Yep.
But at the same time, not taking any crap off of anything. Like he can still take care of himself. So
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's an old badass, and he's they did age makeup for him for this film, which is really well done, and it was Robert Kurtzman was in charge of some of the makeup from K&B Effects, as you'll know, Greg Nicotero, and those cats. But this one, yeah, it's a slow burn, and that, like I said, the only thing that hinders it is really its budget. Because, I mean, the sets are okay; they could be better. Everything could be a little better, but
well, like with anything, like we'll move along. We have the cast of the movie. Like we mentioned, Nick DeMisi played Ambrose in Friends and Fiends. If you've seen him in Stakeland,
Yep.
and Stakeland 2, those are other two indie movies that are from the same director, Adrian Garcia Bagliano.
yep,
Both fantastic movies. I would highly encourage you to give those a watch as well. But you have Ethan Embry as his son, and you may know him as who?
it's Rusty Griswold. Yeah,
And Mr.
Mr. Nick Papa Giorgio
Papa Giorgio.
himself. You know, he spins the wheel, he gets a car. Nick Papa Giorgio. So
Then you have Lance Guest, who plays James Griffin. And Lance Guest, you may know him begrudgingly as Michael Brody from Jaws Revenge, or
Right.
as the paramedic in Halloween 2 that's opining over Laurie Strode. So
Yep.
Lance Guest does a great job in this movie as well. I've always actually enjoyed his movies. I'm one of the rare people, even though I know Jaws Revenge is a terrible movie, but I enjoy it when I watch it. But then last but not least, but we have Tina Louise, who is famous for playing Ginger on Gilligan's Island.
yep,
And then last but not least, we have Father Roger, played by the legendary
Yep.
Tom Noonan.
Tom Noonan of Last Action Hero fame, several
Monster Squad.
Monster Squad, Frankenstein, several others.
RoboCop 2. I
yeah.
love Miss Kane.
RoboCop 2. I mean, it's a really good cast. The makeup effects I feel like are done well. There's definitely I feel like there's an underlying homage to Silver Bullet in this, as in there's almost a little bit of a whodunit, you know, because you kind of trying to figure out which of the townsfolk in the community are or could be the wolf.
That's honestly,
know.
that's a beautiful part of this movie because Ambrose doesn't really tip his hand that he knows is something of the supernatural throughout the movie. He just knows that whatever killed his dog was not another dog, was not just a regular garden variety
He
wolf.
knows it was some kind of beast.
And so from the get-go, then he's planning on what's he going to do to take care of this problem. So you see he's like slowly digging a grave for his dog, just like, just getting to the point where he's basically laying traps. And like you said, and then the movie does a great job as it goes along. He's meeting other townspeople, trying to ask questions. Starts going to church, and everybody around just has this uneasy feeling about him. And but he doesn't give a crap,
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's a grizzled veteran. He's relying on those senses: the smell, the touch, the taste. To heighten his investigation.
And Nick DeBeese, he actually talked about how he did through a lot of things to prepare for this role. He actually would wear blinders. He would try to move and as if he was blind just to get prepared for the part. And I think he did a fantastic job in this movie of portraying that character and portraying a character that would be blind. And not only portraying a character that would be blind, but someone who's not hindered by that handicap. Like you say, he had like heightened senses.
And then as all great classic werewolf movies go, especially Silver Bullet, you have the legendary trip to the gunsmith for the Silver Bullet, to which he, kind of says, kind of get some silver shotgun shells, some silver buck, kind of thing going on. And that's always I love it in a werewolf movie when there is a gunsmith. And they're going to the gunsmith because you're not just going to go into your own back shed in the backyard and make a silver bullet. You have to go to a specialist for that. And of course you have to consult that person. And there's always those scenes like Gary Busey in Silver Bullet. So
well, you're talking about homage in Silver Bullet, and I think that's perfectly stated because in Silver Bullet he's like, my nephew just discovered the Lone Ranger.
Lone Ranger, yeah.
And in this one he's like, what do you think of when you hear of a Silver Bullet? Well, I think of the Lone Ranger.
Exactly. So there's little tips of the hat that kind of homage this kind of stuff, but I think overall it's a good watch. I think it's a good Friday night watch.
Now, what did you think of the reveal once we find out who the werewolf is? You think they done a good job covering his tracks?
I think they did a great job, and I think that they lead you to believe that maybe it is the priest that done it, but you're thinking in your head, no, it can't be because we've seen Silver Bullet, you know? So there's several characters, shady characters, all through the town that could be the wolf, and you just don't know who it is going to be. I think they did a pretty good job with what they had.
I do too. Now, spoiler alert: we know that Lance Guest, James Griffin, is the werewolf, and Tom Noonan is the father. He kind of blames Tom Noonan towards the end of the movie because he wasn't able to help him. It's like, all you did was give me prayers and give me rosary beads. That doesn't help me. But leading into that, I want to know, once Lance Guest actually goes through that transformation, what are your thoughts on that scene?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good transformation. It's definitely different. I mean, you can tell they were not trying to go with the typical American werewolf howling transformation. So they do the full, spoiler alert, they do the full rip of the skin, werewolf underneath, kind of almost, if that's to be broad, transformation. And that's okay, and it works. For Kurtzman, for Kurtzman, it's really well done. And I understand why they did it, because they were like, if we do it that other way, with the painstaking process, it's going to be, it's not as good as American Werewolf. But then again, what can be that good? So
I'm on the opposite end of the fence on this one now. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie, as far as the transformation go, I have a lot of respect for Robert Kurtzman and the fact that when I was doing research, they actually built a new camera rig to where they can get as much of this in camera as possible and have it
Yep,
all into one
practical.
shot.
Yep.
So I'll always tip my hat to that and give respect to that. Now, the transformation scene for me, parts of it work for me, parts of it that don't. I'm just old fashioned, kind of like what you're talking about. I like to see bones breaking,
Of course.
shape shifting. I think about when I see them ripping the skin. I go back to Van Helsing, and I just always thought that movie was terrible. And so maybe I'm unfairly judging it because it is trying to be its own thing, but it just takes me back to that. And as far as the werewolf suit goes, when I heard Robert Kurtzman, I was excited to see this, but I was kind of let down because the suit as a whole, like when they're shooting around it certain ways, looks great, especially for the budget.
Yeah.
It's when they focus too much on the snout and the face is where you can really see the limitations that they kind of had. So
Yeah, of course.
I don't know where if I need to blame Kurtzman for this because he did have such a low budget, or maybe I need to throw some shade at the director for not shooting it right. I think there could have been better ways.
Yeah, there definitely could have been. And I mean, and kind of like the limitations on Silver Bullet, less is more.
Yes, exactly.
To where you can almost get away with having the aftermath of the creature speak for the creature itself.
It kind of reminds me too of the movie Bad Moon that I watched not too long ago.
Bad Moon is great.
Like there's some scenes where that werewolf looks phenomenal, looks fantastic, but then there's scenes where they hover onto it way too long, and you see the flaws, and you're like, man, that looks awful.
And that always comes back to less is more
Right.
with these kind of films, And I've even thought of shooting a short werewolf film myself, and you have to really think about that when you do it. Is less is always more.
You should do it, man.
You should do it, man. I might do that, but yeah, I think it's a good little watch. And if you're a fan of Stake Land,
Yep.
if you're a fan of the director, it's he's definitely got his finger on the pulse of vampire, like different takes on the story.
Right.
So as Stake Land is a different apocalyptic take on the vampire tale, this is a different take on the werewolf tale. So I think that speaks for itself.
Rounding out, then let's touch then on the final act. Now, I do really dig the final. I thought that was fantastic. I love how Ambrose sets up all these traps. Now, at the time, he's not anticipating more than one werewolf.
More than
coming.
one, yep.
And so I thought that was a great touch in the movie. How basically Lance Guest kind of goes on a killing spree, almost kind of recruit because he knows.
Yeah, he's not quite killing them.
Right.
He's just
maiming them.
He's maiming them so that they transform. Because he knows he's kind of his number's up.
I just love watching, like you said, those heightened sentences. He'll hear where they're at, and you see him start aiming, shooting everything. And I thought that scene, that final act was really well done. I love the blood and gore and all those scenes as well.
And I like calling back to that final battle. I like that he hears and he senses shit. There's more than one.
I thought.
than I thought. And then he kind of, you can see him, he doesn't look defeated. He doesn't feel defeated, but he knows that he's got a battle.
Yeah.
To kind of go through. And you can see that in his acting, his presence. And I think that's a really well done performance.
It was. And this is a scene that, like I said, spoiler, it tugs on your heartstrings because him and his son have that falling out in the middle of the movie.
Yep.
And then when he gets mortally wounded, he knows his time's up. So he's trying to call his son basically to warn him not to come, but then to say, there's things I could have done differently.
Yep.
And how he loved him and all those, like that good stuff. But then Mr. Papa Giorgio waltzes upon the scene and actually sees the werewolf that hasn't changed back yet and knows, oh gosh, what's going on here.
Yep.
I thought all that was extremely well done.
Yeah, it's a great final scene. And if you're looking for a good werewolf film that you may have not seen yet, I recommend this one. Just put it on, have some popcorn, chill out, cut the lights off, and give it a watch.
So with that being said, on the Goldblum scale, Adam, what would you give this movie?
This one, of course, yes, of course. I'm going to give it three and a half Goldblums for this one.
Fantastic. Of course, of course. I'm not far off from you. I'll probably go down to 3. I think it's, like I said, it's a fantastic film. It is a slow burn, so
Yep.
be prepared for that. But I mean, with it being said, it's a slow burn. It's well written. So if you enjoy a good character-driven story, that's exactly what this is, and exactly what you'll get. And
Yeah.
like Adam said, you don't see many good werewolf movies now. So even though it may not be my favorite werewolf movie on the spectrum, like as you'd say, like an American Werewolf in London or Howling, Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet, yeah.
It's definitely worthy of being among them. So
I mean, and you can tell that the only thing setting it back is the budget. Like if he had the story, the same exact story, already worked out,
right.
but had I don't know how much more of a budget he would have needed. A couple more thousand, or
I mean, honestly,
this would have been.
Yeah, it
this
couldn't have
would
been that big of a budget because
Yeah.
I actually spent an hour trying to find the budget on this movie,
Yeah.
and it's listed nowhere. The only thing I could find, when it came out, it didn't hit movies. It just come out to streaming, and I think it might have come out in a film festival as well. I can't.
Yeah,
that part
I think
can't-
it did festival some.
But as far as DVDs and Blu-rays, that's the only figures I could find. It sold almost $300,000 worth of DVDs and Blu-rays, which is not too bad for a movie that didn't have a big marketing push
Right.
and to be known. And it's gained a cult following because, like I said, Stakeland is pretty well known amongst the horror community. If it's a
Yeah.
rabid horror person, they know about those movies.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you would have taken the same writing and he had the story all fleshed out,
Yeah.
and then given it, I don't know, $500,000,
Yeah.
$1 million more, you would probably have a very well-known movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it has the difference between it. But it's still pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, like I said, I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Like I said, I've done spoken my gripes as far as the suit. That's kind of what holds me back from
Right,
giving it a
right.
higher rating. But like I said, it's the budget. I mean, what can you do with that? So
Yeah.
I mean, they did what they could, and there's like I said, there's things that worked and worked extremely well. And there's just some things where maybe if I'm behind the camera, maybe I'm shooting at a different angle, or I'm not hovering on that on the face.
On
as
the
much.
face and that wolf, exactly. But as always, friends and fiends, check it out. Check out this film and let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And what you thinking?
Same thing. Like
Yeah,
as always, friends and fiends, remember, stay spooky.
that's right. Stay spooky.
Let me know when it's on.
There we go, baby.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
It's on.
We're set to pop.
Oh, it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. Ghost of the Most, man.